what is one thing, I'm reframing it a bit, that your parents or guardians did that made you feel loved?
They apologized.
Ooh. Your parents apologized?
Yes, you see.
Are they African?
You see what I'm saying? You see. That's crazy, isn't it? I grew up with ADHD, attention deficit hyperactive disorder.
Yeah.
And I'm dyslexic. And so I learned by immersion. I learned by touching, feeling, being part of it. I'm a very curious child. So I was a problem child. Like, when I say problem, I don't mean I was a naughty kid. I just mean like I'd come home. I mean, my parents would come home and I'd put the rabbit in the washing machine just to see how fast it can run. Can it run fast enough to store, No, not really. And then the washing machine would lock, so it's being spun and it was tough. Or like I rode a bike one time and the front wheel was not screwed in. And I did a wheelie and the wheel went that way. And so I'm seeing a kayapo fence. You know that fence with the thorn? Oh my God. I went right through. My parents, 2 hours later, were still removing thorns. And my mom's a pharmacist, my dad's a dentist, so they're doctors. They were still removing thorns in nether parts of my body as that was. And then they don't know where to beat because because
you're ready.
So when I was 9 years old, actually 8 turning 9, they took me to a correctional school called Nevasha Boarding. Nevasha Boarding was
correctional school.
Yeah, it was a correctional school. And there's a name for those kind of schools, I forget them.
Yeah.
Approved school.
Yeah.
Bro, thank you. And they took me to Nevasha Boarding, which is an approved school. For context, Nevasha prison was next to us. Their prisoners used to do our grass.
Oh,
right. So it was that close. So you can imagine the level of discipline that it had. You had to stand when a teacher came. You had to stop when you saw a teacher.
Yeah.
Like they were demigods. The punishment was we used to be beaten by electrical pipe cables, rubber cables. Those things were about just smaller than an inch thick.
Yeah.
And it was so severe. For the year I was there, I was beaten every day.
Oh my God.
3 terms, at least 60 days per term. I was beaten every single, I can't remember.
And you're still alive.
I'm still alive. 4 children died in the history of Nevasha Boarding.
Yeah. 4
kids were beaten, 2 to death.
Out of torture.
Yes. 2 died because of a school-related situation, but 2 died, and the last one actually died because they were beaten to death by the teacher.
Okay, so let's continue this story.
So when I came, so I got to a point where after a year, I was because every year I was getting, you know how you cry as a child, you don't want to go back to school, and the parents are like, you see, discipline. So after a while of knowing that you cannot fight your parents, the light went out of my eyes. You know how a kid just
withdrawn.
They're just done. This is my fate. I can do nothing. Right?
Yeah.
And in fact, and I do an engaged talk about this actually, which is on YouTube. I did it about 6 years ago. My mom pulled me out when I tattooed the word Superman on my hand with one of those kayapo thorns. And I didn't do it until like a nice slick one from like Yaya Center. Yeah. It was a scrappy Superman because I was like, this is who I have to be for me to survive. Because I wasn't getting good grades. Yeah. And if you remember how it was in the 80s, I don't know if you went through this experience, the score is 100.
Correct. Yeah.
If you get 92, you have 8 strokes.
Yeah.
If you get 44, you have 66 strokes. So the teacher spreads it out over a period of time, and every day you come for your 6 strokes times 10 days. There are 12 subjects.
Okay, that's depressing.
So by the time I'd come back home, so my mom saw that, she was like, pull him out of school. She came, pick me up, and we went. When I was 10, I was taken back to the school. I used to be in St. Nicholas Primary School down the street. And for years, I carried that darkness of, this is what you did to me. For a very long time. And I went for this thing called the Landmark Forum. I don't even know when, 2005, I don't know when, 2005, so I can't. You've gone for that? Yeah. Landmark, it's amazing. The Landmark Forum is amazing. It's what it does.
What is it about?
It's a 3-day event where you talk about the inside you that no one has ever experienced. Like who's the you? And there was this thing, I don't even remember this thing called the strong suit. We all wear this mask fully on our bodies that hides the real us
body armor.
From everyone, like body armor. That's what's called the strong suit, right? Yeah. And we hide inside it our traumas, our pains, but also our joys, because you're afraid the world will take it from you and rip it apart. You're protecting self-preservation. Yeah. But what it is, it deconstructed it and showed you that despite the fact that you were, whether it's abused, physically, sexually, financially, whatever, you took that thing and gave it a pedestal in the story of your life. And it is in every chapter of every page you write. And until you deconstruct that and hold, whether it is yourself accountable or that person accountable or them, it is always going to be a you problem.
Yeah.
And so you had to talk to the person who was responsible in your mind of this
Sounds
thing.
like what AA does to
alcoholics,
that you have to go back.
So I went and spoke to my mom about it, and I gave her the experience she never knew of. And truly, she never knew. She didn't know. And it was a very heavy weight on her because predominantly in African culture, a child is the mother's.
Correct.
My father, I talked to him 10 years later about...
After you spoke to your mom.
10 years later is when I was like, this is what that experience was like.
Did to me.
And that's when... And at that time, actually, I got in my own kids.
Yeah.
But actually, one of my children was born.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is who I do not want to be. I wasn't even telling him, I was like, this is the father I don't want to be to them.
Yeah.
It was more of a slight. And he was like, I didn't know that this is what you went through. And he apologized. And it fascinates me to this day how powerful.
How did the apology go?
He literally said, I am so very sorry that is what you went through. I didn't know.
Bless your
and if
parents.
I knew, I would have done something different.
Yeah.
That's it.
There's a lesson there in
That
communication.
Statement. In fact, there is no full stop. It is that. It wasn't a paragraph, one sentence. It was and it was not that you're saying it by passing. You sit and you listen, and then you tell, looking there and you're like, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
My intention was this. The outcome was what you went through.
Yeah.
That is not. And of course, as a parent, you
Most
don't
parents
know.
mean well.
You mean well.
Yeah, yeah.
You're doing. No one set a bar for you. Nobody taught you. Especially my dad's a single dad.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a child of a single mom. So he didn't have a father to copy from. He's kind of learning on the go. And he was like, this is what I thought was needed for you, because I didn't want to punish you. I wanted you to, like, I was afraid I'd come home and you'd have been stepped on by a car, or you stuck a fork in the power and you died.
Or the neighbors have beaten you up.
Or you've caught fire outside because you were playing with kerosene. Those are the things I was afraid of. And I figured this is a safer bet than that.
It was from a place of love.
It was from a place of love.
Yeah.
But the mistakes were made.
Yeah.
That apology, completely, it changes you day and night. It changes you because then first you learn empathy and you learn it in the moment.
Yeah.
Because you understand. Then the second thing is you learn forgiveness. Forgiveness is not a guarantee. And this is it has still taken me a very long time to forgive. But what you do is you empathize.
Yeah.
You understand. And it's so much easier to forgive when you understand. That's what that was.
Wow. That's deep. And thank you for being so vulnerable.
I don't think I've ever talked about this. Have we talked about this before? I don't think I've ever talked about this before, actually.
That's actually such
I've never talked about this.
Deep, vulnerable story.
Yeah.